And now to the much-anticipated movie that is putting a new spin on a timeless fairy tale classic. Mirror, Mirror, a lavish retelling of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And it's starring, just one of the hottest young actresses around right now. Snow White herself, played by none other than Lily Collins.
Hi.
Good enough to join us. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So this is a big few days for you. You have the premiere of the movie.
Yeah.
And I understand there's a happy birthday to be wished.
Yes, thank you.
Well.
It's the day after the premiere is my birthday, so it's crazy to think I got the role, shot it, and premiered it all while I was 22.
Okay, so
it's a very cool year.
You get the role. And I know, I go home every day and play Fairy Tale Princess with my little daughter, but you're actually playing Snow White. When you got that role, what's it like?
Well, I found out, first of all, on April Fool's Day of last year, so I thought it was a joke, and I, broke down in tears. But I was so excited. I was screaming with joy. I grew up in the English countryside, always pretending that I had, fairy tales going on around me. So to play a role model that I admired so much as a kid is such an honor.
We hear retelling, so obviously there is something of a new spin here. What exactly are we seeing here with you and the dwarves?
Well, the whole point of this film is to have Snow White not be a caricature of an animated princess. It's to have her be a real girl that young girls could relate to. And she goes from being that wide-eyed, innocent young girl to a fighter mentally and physically. She learns how to sword fight. The dwarves teach her how to wrestle and combat. And she turns into a young woman who ends up fighting for herself. And she saves the prince instead of the prince saving her.
How was it? How the stunts? How was the action?
Oh my gosh! I trained for about 4 months with the Army, sword fighting, fencing, lots of bumps and bruises. No blood was drawn, but it was fun and games, and we had the best time.
You mentioned Army Hammer playing Prince Charming, and I want to take a look. Obviously, having a lot of fun at this movie. Let's take a look at a scene now with you and Army.
You?
You're here.
I am. I'm here, but you're the prince.
So, what are you
doing in the palace? I live here. I have for a while, actually. I'm kind of the princess.
What? You didn't tell me that.
Well, you never told me you were a prince.
Well, I feared I looked ridiculous. Said the prince in the bunny hat.
Army, friend of the show. Obviously, you guys had a lot of fun, and I understand there was he was something of the prankster during film.
Army was quite the prankster. Yeah, it was more of him and the dwarves. He left a fish in one of their toilets, and no one found it for a few days.
Wow.
They were pranking him. I know. Army's he's such an amazing man. He's such a gentleman, but he's so funny.
It is quite a cast. Nathan Lane. And, of course, Julia Roberts. What was it like working with Miss Julia?
She's absolutely incredible. I learned so much just from watching her. She knows so much about everything going on set that it's just fascinating to see her work.
It's interesting. You, broadcast journalism might have been your future. You were a student at USC. You mentioned, though, you grew up in the English countryside, the daughter of Phil Collins. Obviously, you see this all-star cast list, but the big names, the A-listers, these are people you've been around your whole life. How has that prepared you for what you're doing now?
I may have grown up with certain people that are larger than life, but they were always just normal people that were talented that my family knew, and I didn't really regard them in any other way than family friends.
And yet, first column in Elle magazine when you were 15. Are you coming for our job? Be honest. Be honest.
There's something about interviewing and meeting people that I just have always loved, and journalism has always been a part of me.
So here you go. You mentioned it. Your 22nd year. What a whirlwind it must have been. Here comes the premiere on the eve of your premiere and that 23rd birthday.
It's pretty insane. I'm even pinching myself that I'm still doing Good Morning America. Getting off a plane and coming here is it's all so exciting for me, and I just feel really, really lucky.
All right. Well, best of luck.
Thank
nothing
you.
else, because I want to keep my job. You keep yours. Again,
Thank you.
Lily Collins, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.